Warriors. Professor Joe and Eric.
How you doing?
And we're just going to cover a basic technique this week. We did a few segments on head and arm control, and so now we're just going to move on to some stuff from the guard. So we're going to do another old school move.
Yeah, it's old school, but you never see anybody do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing about this. And I don't know, like Joe was taught this way too, but I was never taught to put my foot on the floor in any application. Because what happens is when you put your foot on the floor, you disconnect.
It's not
from
true.
a human being.
It's not true at all. The first two
that's
MMA schools that I trained at, they told me feet on the floor, start to move around.
But that starts creating a situation where you're moving independently of somebody, and then that ceases to me to become jiu-jitsu because now you're trying to force
anytime you put your foot on the floor and you don't have a good connection to somebody, you're in trouble.
Yep.
They are passing your guard. Absolutely. So let's do the scissor sweep.
Cool.
So I'll get your guards.
Sure. So I'll try to. There's a lot to this, but
a little bit
this way. Perfect. So first off, I always think about this in a self-defense idea too, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to have my back on the floor, right? It's like now it's really, really hard. I'm not very connected to them. So we have their grips. I like to start with this if someone has posture. This is one of the indicators that I need to move out. If I feel like I can't break him down here.
This side as opposed to the choke side.
Yeah, just because this has the choke side is for more for choking. Yeah, it is the ability to move. Right, and there's really no choke from here if he has a really, really good posture. It's very tough to choke him. So I can use this as a better way to control his shoulder and better way to control his posture. So when I come here, see, I want to start putting my back on. And the really good indicator to tell if we're doing this right is if he walks forward. You just like walk on your knees forward right here like this. And even if he moves, he should be moving me. He shouldn't be gaining ground.
That's tough.
Right? And so the thing is when I move, when I sweep, I should have that same feel, so when I unlock, I should still be very, very heavy. And now my left leg never touches the floor. I kind of tuck my left shoulder right here underneath of me, and I'm here. So see how I always want this 45-degree angle first, right?
So he can't punch you.
Yep, can't punch me, can't come forward, can't just put his weight down.
Yeah, so if you put it across my belt line immediately, then you're just going to get passed.
Yep. For sure.
But it's in my sternum,
so
I can't put my weight on it, and it actually hurts my sternum a little.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just there's no way of getting rid of this angle at the moment.
And so
I can't go forward.
Yeah,
can't
if he
go
tries to go back, this is a great way to start putting this in here.
Yep.
And so I really prefer to have my left foot on the hip. You can have this down too, but I think it just limits your options a little bit. So what I like to do is if I come here, it's all arm. I want to bring my elbow towards my belly button here, and I just slowly rock back on my shoulders. I shouldn't be pulling him because I don't want to disattach. I just move from this way, right? And so we come here like this. What my right foot needs to do.
Well, you're going to turn 180.
Yeah, this way, huh? Yeah, that's right. Is I want to make a little hook, right? I don't want to have my foot like this. The biggest problem with the scissor sweep is when we sweep, we disattach, right? So I want to make a little hook, and how I do this is I point my toe, and it causes there to be a little ridge right here, right? On my right heel. And I'll kind of show you guys in a second how we can do this and start practicing this, because there's a way we can start practicing this too.
So let's go from
start from the point. Yeah, so
they believe you about the left foot.
Yeah.
You got to do the opening.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. That's right. That's right.
So there's a little invisible jiu-jitsu going on. When he extends his feet, you want to see that it's over my femur.
Yep.
And so it's hard for me to get up. And even if I manage to get up, I'm carrying all your weight.
Yeah, and you're gonna do this once too. But like a good way to practice this, if Joe just keeps walking forward right here like this. See how I can't do this move, right? Yeah. So if he goes back right here like this, he walks forward, I can still do this every single time if I have that connection. Doesn't matter. So
let's just start from the beginning. Because that's a really important detail.
So see how I kind of control. I like to kind of connect my knees a little bit on the sides, and I lift my butt up, so he's carrying my weight here, and I'm gonna stretch, but I try to keep that connection if I can.
Yep.
I get on my shoulder and see how, just like that. And so when I'm here, I like to put this here just as another brace, just in case, right? If he comes back right here, we'll just do the classic idea of coming here. So I get this in, elbow down, and I'm gonna roll back here. Now see how when he comes down, I connect with my legs here, and that's what's gonna drive me over. So a good way to practice that, and I've seen this guy, somebody teach this as an escape, is if I come here like this, you just have your partner, once you go for the sweep here, they backstep. Just like this. Yeah, perfect. So I've seen people like do this as an escape, but this is a really good tool for learning how to connect this heel. You kind of see what I mean? So allow your partner to backstep and learn how to piggyback off of the backstep.
Right on.
Yep.
Your other leg, you're pinching the knee into the femur as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just good. It's just good mount application.
Yep. For sure, absolutely. Hiding those feet right off the bat.
Man, now we're doing two concepts.
Putting those frog feet.
It's ridiculous. So yeah, same thing. So what happens is, right, whether it's any kind of mount, but the person's here,
Yep.
and they sort of step towards the floor sometimes, or even if they hook the leg, their left leg will be disengaged.
Yep. And so
I'm not controlling his hips at all.
Nope.
So if I try to put both knees down now, that's when he's gonna escape. Right?
Yep.
So if I go, I'm going to use that toe principle, but I'm going to go from the right so you guys can see it. So if you're here. So if I go here and now I bring my knee in,
Yep.
and I extend my toe. So now if you try to move your hips,
Very tough.
very hard. You can even catch the calf.
Yeah.
So a lot of times before you mount, you just wait here and you try to escape.
Yes.
And then when you feel the escape is over, that's when you finish taking them out. But I think most people, when we get excited, we learn the scissor sweep, and we can launch like a 400-pounder.
Last thing you want to do.
Yeah, you try to like throw them as far as you can.
Yeah.
But then the recovery is so terrible that you're like, man, I did all this work. I did flip this guy.
And now I'm in.
Now he's just recovered.
Whatever,
Yeah, exactly. We do it one more time?
Yeah. Of course, man. Yeah, and like this is one of my not go-to because I try not to think in those terms. I try to think of like situational. But like anytime anybody is starting to gain good posture, I don't want to be underneath you with good posture. I want to start moving my body out and like trying to compensate for what you're doing correctly, right? So this is a really big tool for learning how to open, right? Because the last thing we want to do, and you see this everywhere, right? If someone's like Joe's really smart. If I'm just trying to open my legs like this, he's gonna kill me. You can't. If the better someone is at learning how to like feel this space right here and understand what you're trying to do, you can't just do this or do this.
Yeah, because it's pretty common. I
see it all the time.
I've seen a couple things this week where we know that like I don't want your foot on my hip.
Yeah.
Like if I go left hand,
Dirty foot principle.
Yeah. So if you just move to put your foot on my hip, my elbow's gonna come in every single time. I'm gonna start to look to pass.
Yeah.
Or just keep your guard open.
For sure.
Right? So, but yeah, if you open the way you're talking about, where's the opportunity to stop the foot? Because I'm under control.
For sure, absolutely. And so when I come here, and I could do this from this position too. I could pull, but a really good thing is I could pull him and he could come back, and now I come back up too, just like that.
It's tight.
Yeah, he's connected. He's very, very connected to me because that's what I want. That's what's gonna keep us, because our goal is to connect all the way through. All the way through the position. You want to be glued. Just like that. That was.
So this is Eric's tip. Like I've just seen him teach this class a few times. So a real easy way, if you're like working on this mechanic, is whatever leg you want to sweep towards, just have him step up on that side.
Yeah, for sure.
So. And he can even help me. I can just kind of be neutral, and he picks up a leg. So we're gonna sweep this way. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Now it's easy for me to find that as a platform and move off this way.
Beautiful.
Then you can switch, connect, catch it, come over. And that's just a way, because you're basically doing a hip escape.
Yeah.
Like the warm-up, the hip escape warm-up. But you're doing it on the femur and hips of your partner. And in the beginning, if somebody's like this, I see a lot of like white belts really struggle.
For sure.
They're like, how do I move? So if you step up, you kind of give them that ramp.
No, you're 100% right, man. You just learn those connections and like baby steps, and you guys will get there for sure. And then use that same exact technique of like how you move your body everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So I think, gosh, what were we teaching the other day? There was something we were teaching just the other day was use the same exact mechanic, just like, and you can do that kind of in that warm-up idea. Remember when we were talking about just utilizing that hip escape here? It's the same exact idea. I'm trying to gain that angle.
Oh, we were
to
teaching
come here, and it's that same exact idea. Learning how.
That was from the Zoom class.
Oh, that's right. Learning
so
how to shrink the shoulder. You're learning how to shrink that shoulder because it's an interesting concept. But a lot of like mechanics have to do with like what is the longer arm. If you learn,
just like boxing.
Yeah.
Your jab and your cross, the way your hips turn, one is longer than the other.
Yeah, and so think about that. Like I'm sure there's people of you that seen this sort of idea before, but think about like what like the basic way that you've seen this move, and now think about it like this, and you got a basic mechanic that can have like black belt level like applications everywhere, and that's really like the knowledge you want to gain. Is like how can I really start making these concepts work for me?
Yeah, so it's not just moves, it's a principle. You know, what's the principle here of opening? So how can I use this in like a hook sweeping guard? How can I open to set up a triangle choke? All those things.
Yeah, and I think, and I'm not saying, I think that moves like the Elahiva and things like that are possible. I'm not saying that at all, but like I think when you're doing it disconnected and like using it as an even deep half guard. I think I even like gotten to deep half guard on you the other day. I was like, how did I get there? But it was just the way that I was connected. It made you bring that knee up, and I was able to go out underneath your leg and I started getting towards your back. But I would never just go underneath of somebody's leg. It was just how we were connected and how he moved in response. He's gotten me in positions like that too. But I don't do that independently and just go underneath and dive underneath of somebody's leg. Or
not like I have a trick move.
No.
That I do.
No.
Like now I do this.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's like that, right?
For sure.
Because you don't have connection.
Yeah.
You don't have a concept. You're just like, I learned armbar today. I'm going to try that. You know nothing else.
Yeah.
But if you're a purple belt and you're stringing together attacks, sweeps, chokes, locks, everything should be connected to where you're hampering the other person, not just I go for one area, I scramble to another area.
It is, man. Remember, like I think I was watching Jean-Jacques Machado had that podcast with Professor Sauer.
Recently.
And it was a great podcast, and I mean,
really cool interview.
And like through our association, like it's pretty much impossible to get a black belt in less than 10 years. You can't. And I'm not saying that people can't compete and do things at a black belt level, but like did you catch what he was saying? Where it's like taking a book and reading the beginning and the end, and not having the application or like the ability to teach that.
Right. You basically have the first few chapters, but you have gaps.
Yeah, and there can't be athletic people because some people are very athletic. Some people have these skills where it can be just in rolling or just in sparring. That doesn't necessarily mean that their knowledge is at a black belt level. Because geez, man, I think about like just how much I learned in a year. And I think about where I was at after 4 years, and where I'm at now is a completely, oh my gosh, man, I couldn't even imagine, man. But yeah, that's kind of a different tangent, though.
Yeah, so just closing up and back to like being old school. The other thing this move affords you, besides the control, is the punch defense.
Yeah.
And just by the way you're putting in your knee, you kill the sprawl, so you're negating a lot of what the wrestler's going to try to do.
For sure.
In this situation.
Yeah.
And if you're in MMA, by having that angle with the knee, no one can reach your face.
Yeah.
So they're not going to punch you.
And I used to do this. I used to have a self-defense class where we would hit each other all the time.
Yep.
Which sounds great. But I would use this from that same
head
and arm. We would talk about like when I would get here like this, if someone started to back up right here like this, see how I would try to create a 2-on-1 here. And so if this really sucks, I'll be gentle because it sucks. If he tries to stand up to hit me right here like this, see, I'll look at how much I can drive him with that knee. And then I'm in a position where I can really do him a lot of damage and he can't touch me. So like it works well.
Which is the same position as the scissor sweep.
Same exact position. Exact position, man. Good mechanics. Mimic each other for sure.
Yeah. So and I think that's maybe the most important point is you're looking for those good mechanics, good principles. You're not looking for, is this a cool technique? Am I going to catch somebody with this one thing? Because if it is a trick move, once the guy figures out a piece of defense, you don't have your move anymore.
And I'll be the first one to admit, I was a really great Joe Delzar, very nice guy. And Joe's a really, really, really good.
He's a good black belt.
He's a black belt. He's very, very good. And he would have stuff that I would never see. He'd tap me out sometimes, but he'd tap me out once, and I'd be like, "Oh, I see exactly what you're doing with this move," and you couldn't do it again. So now he'd have to go back.
And
very good black belt.
You don't have if your move doesn't work.
Yeah.
What principles behind it?
Yeah, and he was awesome because he would always be like, "Well, this is how I've seen how I can beat this move," and he would always share that with me.
Yeah, super cool guy.
Super cool guy. Super cool guy. Yeah. Very good black belt. Yeah. But yeah, it's just that if you have one like shiny thing over here, if I can figure out, and most of the time, it's basic mechanics that kill those positions. Having good mechanics, good body mechanics. It's all it takes most of the time, man. It's crazy.
Then you add value to everything else you're doing because you're like, oh, I see this principle is here in the hip escape. Oh, it's also how I mount. It's also how I open to sweep.
Yeah.
And so you become multi-threaded.
Well, and you think about it because
think about things differently.
Yeah, and you think about it even in ways like, man, there's so many things that we teach, right? And then you give so for you're like, gosh, we did the bridge and roll, and then if everything isn't the same, you go back and you do a different move. Maybe you don't even practice that trap and roll for 3 months, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. But if every single piece of body mechanic is the same, you're practicing that move every single day. Yeah. Every single day. Yeah. Every single day. And that's a great way of thinking about things. That's simpling your game down and everything gets sharper. Always.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on, guys. Thanks for watching.
20-minute scissor sweep.
20-minute scissor sweep video. We always do Gracie Jiu Jitsu on Wednesdays. So appreciate having you guys here, and all the comments and questions have been awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thanks for watching. We'll be back on Friday with Kali Instructional. So we'll see you then. Until the Warriors are out.
Warriors out.